Yo, what's up guys, it's Jack and welcome back to another video. And in this one, after spending about 30 hours give or take on playing the Black Ops 4 beta, I thought I'd give my thoughts and kind of my thoughts and impressions on the game and things that I like about it and the things that I don't like, and kind of mesh it together so that way for those of you, especially for those of you guys, whether you've played it or not, so that way you guys have an idea of what my thought process is involving the game, as well as for those of you guys that haven't played it, you know what you're going to be in for. Because this game, personally speaking, I've been playing Call of Duty for the last 8 years, and this game does a lot of things that makes it very different from any other Call of Duty, and in many ways actually. So some of them are really good, and I can give them praise for, but at the same time, some of those other things keep this game from being, in my opinion, from being a great Call of Duty. It seems like that this game is only catered towards one specific type of play style in a sense, and if there is a different play style, it's basically I'll get into it a little bit more. Like for instance, if you're playing TDM, it's meant for the very, very passive player, and if you're playing any objective game mode, it's meant for the like competitive players, people that run around, go for the win, and capture as many objectives as possible and all that kind of stuff. Really, really sweaty stuff. So, but anyway, I'm going to put everything in perspective here so that way you guys understand. So let's start with the things that I do like about the game. Okay, there's good movement, and the music is badass. I really like the music right before the match starts, or even at the menu. The music is badass. It's really fits in really well. I love it. And there's good movement. You know, it's really fast paced in terms of the sprint, and then you've got the slide, which I think is great. The bunny jumping, I'm sure, is going to be nerfed, but there's still going to be people that are going to be jump shotting, so they're just going to lower the altitude in terms of how high you can jump, I'm pretty sure. So I think by week 2 you could probably see a change in that. But yeah, the movement is overall really, really good. We've got good guns with good iron sights, which is really good, which adds to the amount of let's say you don't want to use an optic, you know, you can have an extra point to pick it to use for something else and pick 10. So the guns for the most part have really good iron sights, and they're good guns with a lot of different variety on how to use them and all that kind of stuff. But even that, to a certain extent, has its downside, and I'll go into that in a little bit once I get to the things that I don't like. Objective modes, as I mentioned, play really, really well. As you can see in this gameplay, I'm playing hardpoint, and I've never played hardpoint before. It's a lot of fun. So this game, you could tell that especially if you're going to run around, that it was designed for objective play. So it could very well be a hell of a lot of fun. So there you go. Pick 10 is obviously back. That's a good thing, and there's a couple things that they've added that give you even more freedom and more of a choice. But at the same time, there's a few things that they've taken away as well, which I don't fully understand why. I partially understand because of a balance factor, but at the same time, it's not as much of a balance factor because of the other things that they've implemented as well. So I'll get into that more in a little bit. Shotguns are secondaries, so I don't think we're gonna have the amount of annoyance as we did in Black Ops 3 with the breachy or the brecci or however you pronounce it. So shotguns are secondary, so that's a good thing. And time to kill, which is one of the most controversial things when it comes to this game, is actually great, and I think it widens the skill gap, which is great because the person with the better decision-making skills as well as the better gun skills simultaneously should end up on top. But the problem is it's good when the connection is good. So if the hit detection is a little off, then the time to kill is going to seem like it's way, way, way too high. It's going to feel more than 150 health. And then at the same time, when everything plays great, it feels great, and the kills feel really satisfying to get, slightly more so than in previous Call of Duties. So I think that's a good thing, and that's one of the things that personally keeps me coming back. And the fact that I'm not your average Call of Duty player, because I've been playing this game for a very long time, and I worked really, really hard to get to where I am today in terms of what I'm able to do with Call of Duty. So with this game, in some ways, I feel like that my hard work is paying off. But at the same time, there's also a lot of things, because the things that they've implemented, some good, some bad, that basically makes me feel like I'm starting over again. And that to me is like a personal challenge. So if I worked really hard to learn how to play my aggressive play style correctly and pretty much play well in other Call of Duties, and if this game is challenging me to do that, that's like a personal challenge. And that, for me personally, and I know most people are are not like that. They just want to get on and play a few hours and then call it a day and enjoy it. So that's another part of the problem with the game itself. So that a lot of people are not like that. Granted, because it is a beta, we're running into a lot of people that are very passionate, very try-hardy people. Some of them are even professional players or content creators on YouTube. But this is not the majority of the population. It certainly isn't, which is part of the reason why I'm making this video, so that way you guys can be informed on what you can kind of expect and what my experience was like after 30 hours or so with the beta. All right, so let's get into this. Now, as I mentioned, I've worked really hard in terms of gameplay-wise to what I can do with my aggressive playstyle in Call of Duty. But I feel that this game also caters to a certain playstyle so much that people that have little to no skill are getting things for free, are doing things that they shouldn't be able to do for free without doing anything, by just waiting a little bit of time and just pressing a button, which is something to where in previous Call of Duties you had to work and figure out how to do and learn how to do. So now this time there are those things that all you have to do is just wait, press a button, and there you go, wham bam. So let's get straight into the specifics. There's tactical insertions in their own way in this game are back. There's attack deploy equipment which you can use multiple times per game, which is a tactical insertion but for your entire team. And especially if you're playing TDM or kill confirmed, it could really mess with the spawns. So that is a problem. By the way, this game has definitely been built around the specialists. A lot of people didn't want the specialists back in the community, as far as I understand, and they brought them back and they buffed them. A lot of people say that they nerfed them, but no, they buffed them, and I'll explain why. It's simply because of the fact that you don't get to choose whether you want the main specialist ability, the offensive ability, or the equipment. No, this time you get both. And the equipment, which is very annoying a lot of the times, which I'll get into in a little bit, is something that you get very often, and then the main ability you only get, like, let's say once per match, or if you do really well, twice per match, give or take. So there you go. Now moving on to the other pieces of equipment that are really annoying and kind of disrupt the game, the flow of the game, so to speak, is the sensor dart. Now in previous games, if you thought somebody was there, or if you knew somebody was there, you had to kind of pay attention to the minimap, you had to understand the spawn system and all that kind of stuff, and you had an idea, or you knew for sure. This time all you have to do is use your sensor dart equipment, fire it at a place, and you can tell right on the minimap whether somebody's there or not. So that's one of the minor things, but it's still something that kind of caught my attention. Vision pulse is back, but not only do you get it, but your team gets it. It covers even more of the map this time, and you get bonus points for it as well, multiple times. And you'll see it in this gameplay because I'm using it. And I have no choice but to use it, because another thing is you can't choose whichever specialist you want at times. So yeah, there's that as well. So they've taken kind of the freedom away, and they've taken freedom away in more ways too, which I'll get into in a little bit. But let's move on to the next one. Oh, and with the bonus points, those bonus points get you more bonus points than your score streaks do. Crazy, huh? All right, there's a razor wire, which is an equipment that one of the specialists has that they can get it multiple times per match. And they can put it down any corridor, and there's a lot of rooms, a lot of corridors, lots of flanks of stairs that basically they can put that razor wire down there, and you'll never get there unless you destroy the razor wire, which is really strong, requires a lot of bullets. And at the same time, now they know that you're there, they're going to find you on the other side of that, and they're just going to kill you, and wham bam, there you go. So it's really annoying. It really ruins the flow. And the fact that you can put it anywhere, it's like you can't access this part of the map, so it is what it is. But it's not as it is annoying, but it's not quite as annoying because there's only one. But the fact that you can run into multiple razors per match, it's like, okay, I want to run this way. Oh wait, I can't. So I gotta go and try flank the other way, and it is what it is. Let's see, we got a TAC 5, which is basically a health boost for the player and for the team. So in a sense, they brought back Juggernaut and for the team. And on top of that, it's as if the 150 health by default wasn't enough, right? So there's that could be annoying as well, which makes gunfights very unfair. There's a ballistic riot shield to where somebody can run around with a riot shield and they can put it down, and if you fire at them, they get points and while they're blocking your bullets, and on top of that, they can fire back at you. Granted, they're not as accurate because they're only firing from the hip, and they're using I think they're using a pistol, I think. But even if they were using the regular weapon, they can only fire from the hip. So that is very annoying. It's like, who wanted all this stuff back? A lot of things that the community was complaining about seems that they have brought it back. And who knows what else they're going to bring back when they introduce even more specialists, which they've said that they're going to have more specialists later on in the game. So, oh, and by the way, another controversial subject is the armor gear. It's the piece of gear. It's like you get a choice. You don't have to pick it if you don't want to. You can save up another point from your pick 10. But as far as the gear, you can have stim shot, you can have the acoustic sensor or whatnot, and you can have the you can have a couple more other things. But one of them is the armor gear, which basically you spawn in every single time with this armor, which is basically like almost like a ballistic vest, so to speak. It takes a few extra bullets to kill you, and if you're not using the armor-piercing rounds, you get into a gunfight, you're screwed. And especially if you're using TAC 5 along with that, you're doing a health boost, plus you got the armor gear. It's like, wow, crazy. So yeah, there's as you can see that there are things about the game that are balanced as of right now, and there are things that are definitely not balanced. It's like, what were they thinking? It's like, why are you over catering? I understand catering to certain playstyles in a few ways, but like over catering to one and not catering towards others that as much knocks the game off balance, in my opinion. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, there's the fact that they're limiting your pick 10 choices by not allowing you to pick certain attachments for a certain weapon. So for instance, in some weapons you can't use quick draw. For some weapons you can't use stock. With some weapons you can't use grip. So it's basically like they're saying, okay, we want you to use this gun this way. Or if you do play a gun this way, well, you're only limited to this because it's quote unquote tactical. In my opinion, they focused a little bit too much on the tactical play and not enough on the other things. I don't mind them focusing on the tactical play, but you gotta have a counter. Not everything has a counter in this game, at least not as far as I understand right now, and I've played the game a shit ton. So there are some things that just don't have a counter to them, especially if you play TDM. If you play TDM, it's basically I might as well rename it to Tactical TDM, because you don't have to move around, and with everything that I've just discussed in terms of the specialists and how the game was built around the specialists, in TDM specifically, they can be used in a way that really disrupts the flow more than any other game mode, and you're going to be running into a lot of guys that just are not moving, and it's going to be really hard to flank them because of the amount of equipment that they have and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, you can't choose which specialist you want, and if you do, you're very limited. And in terms of like, you can only have 2 in Chaos TDM, but yeah, there's all that. And there's the fact that snipers can draw quicker than people with SMGs. I mean, I personally think they should draw about the same speed, but I think that if you're going to play aggressively, you might as well at least have the option to have attachments that allow you to play aggressively. So if they could do that with snipers, why can't they do that with SMGs? I don't have a full understanding of what it is, of what they're trying to accomplish in terms of the balancing factor. But I will say this, that if you play objective game modes, and if you're a person that likes to play aggressively, you should have fun with it, because with Hardpoint, I've been having fun, and with the time to kill, and when the game does play right, and when everything feels good, it's great. But TDM and Kill Confirmed is not my thing. Oh, by the way, in this game, Kill Confirmed has been nerfed, and the amount of points that you get in Kill Confirmed and in Domination is actually lower. I'm not as familiar with Hardpoint, so I'm not sure, but it's lower than it's been in other Call of Duty games. So I think that could be changed very easily, and I think they will change it, because I don't see the reason why. I mean, why play Kill Confirmed when you can get 100 points per kill in TDM, whereas opposed to Kill Confirmed, to where you get 50 points per kill and then 50 points for the tag. So it makes no sense to play Kill Confirmed. So yeah, when you put everything together, there's a good amount of things that if you're an above average Call of Duty fan, and if you're a one that likes a challenge, there's a lot of things to like and appreciate with what they've done with the game. But at the same time, when you put everything together, there's a lot of things that make you scratch your head and say, what the hell were they thinking? Or why are they overdoing this? Or why are they bringing this back after we've complained year after year that we don't want this? So anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys. The commentary is already long enough, and but I wanted to get everything out there. So all in all, this game is a mixed bag, but I still do enjoy it, especially in the objective game modes, because I enjoy challenge, and I want to prevail in this game just like I did in the past when learning how to play Call of Duty correctly. So I want to learn to prevail so that way I can go run around and succeed in every game that I play. So it's going to be quite a learning curve. It's going to be a pain in the ass. But as long as I enjoy doing it, specifically in the objective game mode, that's going to keep me coming back. But if you're one of those people that does not enjoy that sort of thing, the game may not be for you. So anyway, those are my thoughts, guys. Let all thoughts be known down in the comment section. As always, if you enjoyed the gameplay, let me know. In the video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I can do to make my videos get better. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.